Hello and welcome to another video dealing with topics related to wellness and health. Today's topic is going to be about fasting. Fasting is something that many people do. This video is intended for those people who are new to it and who maybe have not tried it, or maybe just beginning and want some other input and some ideas about it. So we'll be digging into that. But before we go into it in any great detail, I want to make this my standard disclaimer. And this is important because something like fasting is very powerful, and you should only do it if you've done some good research, and if you have any issues, health issues, you may want to check with a holistic practitioner to make sure that get your blood work done if there's any major issues or whatever. But it's pretty safe, but it is powerful, and I want people to understand that it's a natural gift. Okay, so this is something that you can do it yourself, but please do do your own research and check it out. And as always, if there's any images here that belong to you, please feel free to contact me if you want a credit or change or deletion. Okay? So let's go into it. So, what is fasting? I think when you hear the word fast and fasting, the very first thing that might come to your mind is that it's about food, and it's about not eating food for some period of time. Now, this is true, but I want you to introduce an idea that it's really a much broader concept. Think of all of the inputs of which food, related to the bottom one, their taste, is but one. So we have all these inputs, and when anything comes in, it has to be processed. And as I said earlier, when you think about fasting from food, we're talking about the body not having to process food. But there are fasts that you can do with hearing. You could choose not to use a cell phone for a day. You can do fasts with touch, where you just sit quietly and you physically stay still. That's your meditative type fast. And I want to draw a connection between meditation and fasting. And a lot of people go to retreats. And when you go to a retreat, you don't just, most cases, you don't just restrict food, but you leave your cell phone home. You don't do internet when you're at a retreat, or you're not supposed to for most of them. And there may be a strict diet, so they might modify that. And they may even, some of the retreats that I've heard about, they'll have periods of time where people don't talk, and then periods of time where people can talk, and they might do chanting and whatever. But it's restricted in terms of all the inputs that come into your body. And the question is, why is that important, and how does that relate to fasting of food? Well, if you look into many religions, they will connect fasting with meditation and power and getting answers and going inward. So it's a way of going inward. When you cut off the inputs, it allows you to go deeper. Think of a sensory deprivation tub, and you go in there, and people have said that they have, quite amazing, inner awakenings when they completely isolate off input. So you connect meditation and fasting, so there's something going on with inner development. One concept is what people talk about is the monkey mind, that if left alone, our mind will just go like a monkey in a zoo and do anything and do tricks and keep you busy, right? So to get that control of your monkey mind, meditation and fasting is a great way of doing it. And I will be doing a video relating how to use meditation and fasting for controlling addictions and making changes. You know, if you want to make a change, and if you're addicted to something, like say cigarettes or food or whatever it is, music or an activity, how do you get control of it? Well, it's my belief that when you do meditation and fasting, you will develop the skills of this self-management, self-control. I kind of don't like the word control, because it's not so much that you're controlling something, is that you are making a decision not to do something. So you're not controlling it, but you're saying, I choose to delay or not to do something. Okay, so what are the types of fasts when we're thinking of just food? This is the easiest one to start with, so we'll just deal with the food aspect for now. So you can do, like on the plate on the left, you can have no food, or you can select to have food during various times of the day, sometimes called an intermittent fast, or you might select only certain foods to eat at certain times. So there's sort of degrees that you can do, and they each have a different impact. I will be focusing in on the most basic and traditional fast, often called the water fast, where you only drink water. And I'll mention here at this point, please get the highest quality water that you can get if you're fasting for whatever period of time. I use remilitarized distilled water. So I distill my water and I add a few fasting minerals to it, a few drops. And that's what I drink when I'm fasting. So you can actually go online and search for fasting minerals, additives. And people market a drops that you put in your water if you are fasting, to make sure that you're getting all the minerals necessary. This isn't a big deal for short fasts, but if you're fasting longer than 24 hours, it might become important. Okay, so if we're looking at water fasting, there's several different approaches we can take. The classic one that might be the easiest to start with is what they call an intermittent fast. And as you can see here in the top left, that there's a period of time that you eat in the white, and a period of time where you don't eat. And that's really quite easy to do. So you might say from 9 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, you are not going to eat anything. You're only going to drink water. So that's something that a lot of people could do. And that time period can be even shorter. It could be from midnight to 5 or 6 in the morning. But you pick a period of time and you exclude all food, not even anything, no soft drinks. Be careful of teas or coffees. The safest thing to do is just drink water, pure water. Then the type of fast that is probably the next stage, easiest to do, is then you might pick a day, a 24-hour fast, and say, well, for once every month, every Sunday, I'm going to fast for one day. Or maybe for some people, I know people that for a period of time, they might fast once a week, a 24-hour fast once a week. You kind of want to build up to it. I find the easiest thing is to do the intermittent fasting for a while, and then pick a day where you're going to do one 24-hour fast, and we'll talk about that. Then, you can progress, and you might say that you might fast for a few days and then not fast. So on this 5-2 method, you might eat normally for 5 days and then fast for 2. And that's pretty demanding, but if you have something that you're specifically trying to work on, There are different reasons this becomes important. And the final one I think is, very interesting, the warrior's diet, fasting. And you can see here at the very bottom, if you were a warrior in the forest, you might only eat once a day. So there's 1 hour a day that you eat, and the rest of the day you are on your journey and you don't eat. So there's a lot of interest in that one, the warrior's diet. Okay, so there's a couple examples of different ways you can fast. The benefits of fasting are quite significant. Here's a little presentation, a little slide giving 10 major benefits. I have experienced a lot of those myself, just doing fasting. One big one is, the reduction in inflammation. That's huge. If you have inflammation around joints or whatever, fasting is a great way to reduce the amount of water stored by the body by fasting. So you can take a look at those bullets. You can stop the video at this point and just scan through these. Or if you just go online and search for benefits of fasting, you'll see that there are very many. Now, in a separate video, I do go into this in greater detail, but today I'm going to skip forward and look at something specific called autophagy. Now, when you go into the autophagy or autophagy, depending how you want to pronounce it, you go into that state. It's called the digest and repair state. When you are eating, okay, and you are in the red. So eating is I don't know quite how to put it. You're digesting all the sugars and proteins and fats in the body. When you digest all of the existing carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that are in the bloodstream and in the stomach, your body then looks around and says, well, there's nothing in the blood. I need some food. What am I going to do? So it looks at the stored food and goes into autophagy or autophagy, and you go into the mode. Now, you don't have to exercise when you're fasting. In fact, I would say probably just do something really gentle like yoga, walking, or tai chi. When I fast, I really don't feel like doing a lot of vigorous exercise, but I know some people do. It's not necessary for autophagy to take place or autophagy to take place. It will happen automatically as soon as you stop eating long enough for all of the food that's in your circulation to be removed. All of the sugars, all of the proteins, all the fats are consumed. The body will go at the cellular level, this is a cellular thing, and start digesting stored resources. Along with eating these stored resources, the cell itself does a host cleaning. And one of the big things with autophagy is cells will self-terminate if they are at that stage. A cell will look at itself and say, well, maybe it's time for me to go. And this is very important. The cells will shed and they will be consumed. So cells in the body that are no longer at their peak performance, that are past their expiry date, will terminate, and the other cells will consume them. That's basically part of what's going on. And any waste will be excreted. Very important process. This only happens when you are fasting. Very important. I'll repeat it again. This autophagy or autophagy only happens when you are fasting. So this is the big reason to fast. Okay, there's something called the immune response, and when your body is fighting an invasion, there's certain things that you might notice. Your temperature goes up, You start coughing things out, trying to get things out of your system. You might get diarrhea where your body's trying to flush stuff out of your digestive system. You might sweat. Your body's trying to sweat whatever the impurity. So your body goes into a fight mode. There's a, and again, this is something you do in consultation with your holistic practitioner. But for myself, if I'm not feeling well, I will cut back on my food and do a mini fast, or a restrictive intermittent type fast to give my body as much attention. Because be aware that when you eat, it requires energy. When you fast, your body saves energy and can be more focused. So fasting can be a way of strengthening your immune system. But again, do this in consultation with your support persons. So I would suggest, if you're going to start fasting, if you've never fasted before, start with an intermittent fasting. Pick a period of day where you can go without food. Now, when you do that, what you will begin to notice is how active the brain becomes. Okay, so a big part of this is this monkey brain thing that I mentioned earlier. When you say you're not going to fast, try to exclude everything. If you smoke cigarettes, try to not smoke cigarettes for those 4, 5, 6, 10 hours, whatever it is. Coffee, try to exclude coffee. Cut out every input and pick a period of time that you can manage and control that period of time, control the inputs. In other words, delay having whatever that input is. And you practice that until you get the strength, you get the ability to go for longer periods. Here's some tips that you can use. These all are help. But I do find that this is a very individual thing. Whatever works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. So I tend not to give, carved in stone instructions. But I would say do a water fast. Keep it short. Pick a period of time, whether it's from 9 o'clock till 9 in the morning, whatever you do. Pick a period of time. Experiment with doing a period of time during the day. So you say you're not going to eat. You're going to skip your breakfast. You're going to skip your lunch, and you're not going to eat till supper time. The reason I suggest that is because those are your times when you're awake. It's pretty easy to fast when you're asleep, okay? You're not really awake. But if you're awake, that's when the monkey mind will get active, and you will have to practice deferring eating until the time that you give it. So if you say you're not going to have breakfast, you're not going to have lunch, and you defer it till supper time, and you break your fast at supper time, and you have a nice light supper. Okay, but again, you can go online and look for all the various tips, and I have some other videos regarding fasting that you can use. It's pretty basically simple, isn't it? Start simple. Keep it really, really, really simple to do. Start slowly with just a short intermittent fast. Join some support groups. Seek advice. At least the least you can do is watch more videos on fasting and realize that it's not just about the food. It's about what happens when you exclude those inputs. Well, that's pretty much it for today's session. I want to thank you for watching and participating. And if you feel that you're able to and you want to help support me in my work, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/SDOliver and buy me a coffee. I would greatly appreciate it. Either way, this is it for today, and we will see you in the next video.